whenever you're whenever you're like inserting, whenever you're making your CSS rules or whatever, like H1 is a rule, and then you put the curly braces. H2 is a rule. Body is a rule. No, those aren't called rules. Those are called selectors. These entire things are called rules. So if you think back to the background images video, we gave the H1 of background image, and we did the URL of our sunset image. I'll just copy and paste this in here, and then we had the same thing for our H2, you know. But as you can see, we were typing the same properties twice. And is there sort of like a way to combine both of these properties together? Well, yes, there are two ways to do that. First, let's get rid of this H2 one. The first way is by putting a semicolon after the first selector and then putting the second item. And then I believe it's a comma. Yes, it's a comma. And there we can see they've been sort of like combined together, so we only type the property and the rule once, and it styles two items. There's another way to do that. It's with classes. If I were to have another H1 right here that said just text, and I didn't want it to have the background color, just these two, then we could use classes, which are a way to combine elements together. And classes are, you give an element a class by adding the class attribute, and you can set it equal to a class name of whatever you want to. I'm just going to name it header, and then I'm going to do the same for our H2. Oops, I need our class equals, and then our quote. There we go. So instead of typing H1 comma H2 up here, we type in a class name. But it thinks we're talking about a tag name. But to make it know that we're trying to refer to a class name, you put a period or a dot before them. And as you can see, the headers that we want to style have been styled with the background color. So, we can also use IDs to style things, and IDs are not for multiple elements like the classes are, but they're for a single element, and there can only be one element with each element has its own ID. There can't be two elements with the same ID, just like there can be two elements with the same class name. So we'll add the ID attribute, and we'll set it equal to, on our H1, we'll set it equal to header 1, and then our ID on our H2 is going to be header 2. So now let's say I want to give only the H2 with the ID of header 2 font. So I type $, which makes it know we're looking for an ID, and then header 2 and our curly braces, and then font family, and I'll just give it cursive there. So there. So now only this one has given the styles we give the ID. And so let's say you know, when you do multiple elements like that, you can do ID. You can do that for IDs and classes. You can put whatever you want in there. It's just not for it's not only for tag names, but even in here you can put header and then a tag name, or header and then a another class, or another ID, or anything else. So let's talk about elements that are inside elements. So let's say I'll put an A tag around this H1 here, and let's get rid of all this, and I'm just gonna style this H1, and let's say we're not going to be using the ID today, or on this one, so we're only going to be using H1s that are inside A's. And then what you do is you put a space between them. So you put the parent one and then the one inside it. So it's only going to style H1s that are inside A tags. Put as many of these as you want, you know? Like if you had a couple of tags out here, you know, you could do, you know, and you can even do it for classes. Let's say we want to have only things with the class of header that are inside A tags, and then they can have the background image of this sunset thing here. Oops, just copy. Sorry about that. Just copy this in here and then paste. So it's not doing everything with the class name of header, because this H2 is the class name of header too. It's only styling the things that are inside the A tag. Another way to do that could be by doing H1 and then dot header. So what this is doing is it's only styling H1s with the class name of header. And you can also add multiple classes when you're adding a class by just adding a space and then adding another class. Let's say, just put 1, 2, 3 for the example. So it has two classes, this H1. It has the class of header and the class of 1, 2, 3. And they're separated by spaces. And class names or IDs can't have spaces anyway, so it knows that we're trying to add a different class name when we're doing that. And you never know when there'll be a situation that you'll need to add two class names. So, thanks for watching.